TikTok Shop has gone from 4,500 US sellers to over 231,000 sellers in the last 2 years, and did $33 billion in sales last year and is growing faster than anything that we've ever seen e-commerce since Amazon. And the brands getting in right now are seeing their Shopify and Amazon revenue lift by 20 to 30% on top of TikTok sales themselves. So in this video, I'm going to break down what TikTok Shop actually is, the 5 ways brands sell on it, and the one reason it might be the most important thing that you can add to your business right now. Now, if you're already selling on TikTok Shop, this video is going to be a great reminder to you to kind of understand the market ecosystem right now and to help you understand that you are in the right place and that your focus is in the right place for the business. TikTok is the most powerful platform and the most powerful sales channel to have everything ripple outwards in terms of growth for the business. So let's talk about what TikTok Shop even is, right? And this is coming from someone who's running an agency who manages a $1 million a month brand on TikTok Shop, several other brands doing multi-7 figures, multi-8 figures. And so we have a bit more of a broader perspective on kind of what's working across different categories and industries, and really why this matters right now. Why is TikTok Shop the place you should be? We're going to talk about 5 ways to sell on TikTok and highlighting those things and how it makes your other channels actually better. And I already kind of teased that a little bit here for you, but I'm very, very excited to kind of talk about this, and particularly around the halo effect, which it's bigger than just kind of a short form app where you can post content to, or it's bigger than just an ad channel that you can make ads and sell product, right? Like Meta ads, for example. It really is so much more where it can become your profitable sales machine, your most important #1 platform for product discovery for people who don't even know you, and the cheapest place to do so, and how it can help you scale every other channel. So super excited to get into this one and talk about this as well. As you can see here from the screenshot, we are able to do $1 million with this brand between March 1st of 2026 and March 31st of 2026. Let's talk about step 1, okay? Content in, sales out. So really what TikTok is it's a storefront inside of the platform. And so when we think about the storefront of our business, right, we know that that's kind of our website. And we run ads to our website to then get conversions. And so the traditional way of generating sales for the business right now, and it's still an important part off of TikTok Shop, is we have an ad that people see. They then click that ad. They have interest in the product. Then they go to the website. They search around. They find something they're interested in. They add to cart, and then they check out, right? And so along these different pieces of the journey, you have to kind of look at your different metrics and KPIs. So the first one is, right, what's our outbound click-through rate? How are we getting people from the ad to the website? Once we have people to the website, what is our conversion rate, right? What is the add to cart rate from the people who land on the website? And so there's all these different points where people can drop off. And, you know, while there are places on TikTok Shop that can drop off, it's a lot more simple, right? TikTok Shop is, let's say you're on the For You page and you're scrolling. Let's say you're a customer and you're just enjoying your time scrolling on TikTok after work in the evening, and you're scrolling, and then you see an ad that pops up that's relevant because of the content that they've been consuming. And all of a sudden that this video is of interest, and this person may be interested in buying the product. And guess what? Well, all they have to do is click the orange cart on that video. They click, look at the product listing, and they purchase. And it's very, very simple and straightforward. Now, there's obviously different points in that conversion cycle, right, where they have to, you know, make sure they feel the product is good for them, add it to cart, and then actually purchase. But it's all done right in front of them without ever leaving the platform. And that's what makes it so powerful. And so there's 3 times more native checkout conversion than outside of TikTok Shop. It's very efficient, and it's also very cost efficient. And it's kind of this machine that allows you to drive traffic and drive product awareness through actual social media content, which is the way that we consume and get to know brands, get to know people, connect and coordinate with, you know, our friends and family, right? There's this idea that we can kind of buy something in a social media platform is really, really powerful. Now, Instagram and Facebook, they are doing this with Shop. YouTube shopping is also around, but TikTok does it like no other platform. And everyone's been following and copying and trying to implement the changes into their platform because of what TikTok has pioneered. The cool thing is that creators can make content for you as well. And so you can set a commission and they can make content for you, and that content can then be generated. And then if they are able to generate sales through their organic audiences, then they get a commission, but you also get the sale. So there's also that aspect where creators make content and they post on their page in front of their audience with your product linked, right? It's a very, very powerful way to sell. So what are the 5 ways that you can sell? So we've already mentioned one, affiliates and creators. This is where most revenue can come from. It's the biggest one. And basically what you can do is you can pay per sale and you're not paying per post, which is typically how things go. You can accelerate and control more of the content narrative with retainers. So if you've been around for a while on the channel, we talk a lot about quality content and quality creators. And this is the shift that's happening right now across TikTok Shop, is finding quality creators and working with creators on retainer to actually make the scripts you're giving them and the briefs that you're giving them is ultimately a better use of your investment than, say, doing mass sampling and focusing on trying to get videos made for cost of sample or just paying commission. Now, it does work and it's part of the strategy, but the core focus is by sampling and by doing this, you're trying to identify creators to bring on and work with on a monthly basis. That's really the goal. So that way we can accelerate that by helping to manage, oversee, give feedback to creators, to even hold weekly trainings where you can coach them and help them to actually learn how to make good content, right? And so with your own videos as well, let's say you post some videos, you make some internal brand content. Highly recommend that this is a focus for you as a brand, is making founder-led or brand-led content. We did that very, very heavily at Gamenetics, where I was making content with the team and we were making content in-house and other people were getting on camera and we were showcasing behind the scenes of the brand, the business, and we were generating a lot of sales and a lot of video views from that to get brand exposure. So highly recommend having someone in the company who can actually make content as well that's brand-led. You don't pay commission on that because you're the one posting it to your account, but that's another way that you can tag your products and it's all free and it's easy to do, right? So we've got creators and affiliates. We've also got brand-led content as well. And the important thing to note here is that you can make similar content to the scripts and briefs that you're actually giving your creators and affiliates in-house and as a brand, right? Maybe make some different kind of content like story videos and stuff, but showing orders going out, for example, that's also a really, really good one to build trust and social proof. The third way is GMV Max, which is TikTok ads. And that's where you can keep buyers in-app and actually purchase by having an orange cart show up on a video, and then they click the orange cart, they check out the product listing, and then they purchase, and it's all done within the app. The fourth way to sell is called live shopping or TikTok Live. And live is basically like QVC, but it's on your phone and you can sell in real time. So it's actually a very great way to add in addition to running ads. And I would say that one or the other isn't required to be successful. There's no, you can go with a full live strategy approach. We've actually worked with a brand that's done that successfully. There's actually an interview here on my channel that talks about that, how we took a brand from 0 to 33K in the first 4 to 5 months, I believe, only with strictly live. And then also with brands who want to go videos first, and that's more of their focus, they can also do that and scale very, very quickly as well with video content. Now, both together are very powerful, but there's a lot of operational complexity that can come with running both things and a lot of investment that is required to actually run both things successfully or at the caliber that you should be to do that. So definitely recommend doing one or the other to start. But if you got a bigger budget and you really want to take hold of the opportunity on TikTok because the window is closing, right? Competition is coming in more and more. You want to be the first to the game. You want to be there as, one of the top, 3-5 brands across your category, then you may want to invest a little bit more, a bit quicker, and make sure you have the right partner to do so. Now, you don't need to have all 5, of course. You don't need to start all of them at once. But I definitely think a good starting point if you're looking to get going on TikTok Shop would be working with affiliates and also organic content, and then using those to run ads. So, if you're bootstrapped and, you want to kind of limit your investment early on, I'd recommend starting with affiliates and kind of sending out samples and getting content back. Just keep in mind that you can't force them to make the exact brief or script that you're actually sending them, but it is a way that you can kind of get started and start identifying maybe some good affiliates that you could work with. And then also making in-house brand content. That's a really good way where you can produce content for your brand and really start figuring out what is the type of content that fits with our industry, and then push into that and lean into that. Once we have enough content, which usually you're shooting for around, at least I'd say 100 to 200 videos initially, then you can start running ads and testing those ad angles. So a little bit deeper into like more of the strategy, but I got plenty more videos here on the channel that can give you more insight into like these strategies specifically, but don't need to start with all of them at the same time. Now, here's kind of the numbers, just kind of lay the playing field and just give you a bit more understanding of what the market actually looks like right now. We have over 200 million US users on TikTok, and your customers are on this app every day. And arguably, like, the people who are on the app right now, they spend the majority of their time or more of their time on TikTok than they do on any other social media platform. And so because they're spending so much time on these platforms, this is your best opportunity to capture them. And it's also the lowest cost, lowest competition. So 83% of TikTok shoppers find products they didn't know existed specifically on TikTok. And the reason why TikTok Shop is such a powerful platform for you and your business is because it's like every other platform. Yes, it is interruption marketing, right? Where Google is more search-based intent, right? YouTube is more search-based intent. Amazon's more, search-based intent to actually purchase, or it's pattern interrupt. But the thing with TikTok Shop is that it's really good at serving you the right types of products. And it's also tied to a creator or an affiliate or a person that's going to then present that to you, and you can open it in app. It's just more native that way. And people find a lot of products on TikTok because they're just scrolling through content and watching content that's relevant to their interests and things that they're going through, right? And the algorithm's very good at changing. Like you could be, a mom, and then you have a kid, and then all of a sudden you're seeing, a bunch of products they could buy for their kid, right? It happens very, very quickly as people engage with different kinds of content. And that's across the board with every social media platform. But with TikTok, it's just so dialed in that it's able to serve products in a very authentic, natural way, which is really where TikTok started, is this authenticity aspect to the platform, and is able to capture the right people and present the right content to them at the right time. 3 times native checkout versus external. So again, like external channels, meaning Shopify, Meta, Google, running ads off a platform, right? 3 times native checkout, meaning that the native checkout built in platform is just so intuitive and so easy to use. And it's just easier for a customer to go through that sales cycle and purchase than any other platform. And then social commerce is projected to pass 100 billion in the US this year, and it's growing very, very quickly. So this is the platform you want to be on. It's still early enough, I think, to really help like get in now versus Amazon, where Amazon was in the early days between 2008 and 2012. You're still early to the game right now, where there's even categories and types of products that aren't even on TikTok Shop doing extremely big numbers, that you could come in and capture a lot of that market as TikTok Shop continues to become a powerhouse and the leader in social commerce. There's a huge opportunity for you now. And I think that in the next few years, it's going to get a whole lot more competitive. We've already seen it aggressively grow in the last year. But man, in the next 2-3 years, if you're not already trying to get on the platform, figuring it out, working with a partner to help you actually grow and establish some foundation, establish some authority, then it's going to be a lot harder to fight your way to the top and have that sales ranking and that like authority and presence on TikTok Shop. So you need to take action now, because the numbers just keep growing and it gets more and more competitive every single day. So this is a concept that I have continued to preach ever since TikTok Shop came out, and ever since we started to understand the relationship of how TikTok Shop plays into the overall ecosystem of D2C e-commerce. And for those who may not know me very well, I've actually had a lot of experience, not just in TikTok Shop, but actually building a brand with my brother, where I've had a lot of influence in the brand creation, the idea, how we presented our product experience, and then also running Meta ads, Google ads, understanding email and SMS, and being able to scale this brand over $10 million in sales over the course of the time that we were building GameNetics. So, the reason I said is because what I've learned in my career so far is that the way that you need to look at TikTok Shop is you need to look at this as your marketing hub. We talked about this at the very beginning of the video, is if you look at every single channel right now and what you're doing, and I know that each of you are probably at a different stage within your Amazon journey, or Shopify, you're running Meta ads more heavy, or Google's doing well for you. Your marketing hub should be TikTok Shop. So what I would challenge you and invite you to do, whether you're working inside of a D2C e-commerce brand, whether you run your own e-commerce brand, whether you're an agency owner managing D2C, you want to really try and drive home the point of convincing whoever you're working with of the fact that if we change our mindset around how we view TikTok Shop, not as like, hey, it's a sales channel that we can sell on, to TikTok Shop can be the center and the marketing hub for everything we do looking outwards for our strategy across our D2C omnipresent approach. And the reason for that is because when you make TikTok the focus and you build the business around this, not only do you get to build an asset, which is a brand community where you have creators that you work with. Let's say you have a Discord, you bring these creators in, you're nurturing them, you're building relationships. Those creator relationships you can nurture, have people in the company start, getting involved and in giving advice. And you can even have the founder on live weekly calls, or you can have the founder come in on every monthly call and answer questions and interact with these creators who are passionate about your products and about your industry. And you really set up this hub where you can nurture these creators. If you can produce the velocity of content that's needed to be successful on TikTok Shop, you will never run out of content. You will never run out of the assets you need to market your business, because TikTok Shop has such a high creative fatigue cycle that you're always going to have more than you need for Meta. You're always going to have more than enough assets to produce even organic content. And maybe you create a branded creator page where you post and repost UGC content that you have permission to do so through your creator community of videos that they're already making for TikTok. And not only that, but you're basically getting free creator content through sampling as well, right? At cost of COGS. And so what it does is you're able to repurpose all these ads to other platforms. You're able to use this content across your website to demonstrate and show creators actually using your products. I'm sure you've been to brand websites before where they showcase in different sections of actual creators and people reviewing and sharing their opinion about products. What better way than to feature people showing off your products and doing that through the social selling and that social psychology for people who want to go to your website and buy something, than not including something like that, right? It's a very strong sales mechanism and it affects people's psychology a lot to actually purchase. And not only that, but brand awareness lifts across your Shopify, across Amazon and Google by 20, 30%. Sometimes we see incredibly high numbers of the halo effect that it can have on your Amazon and on your Google. And if you go on with that mindset, there's not many things that I can guarantee in life, right? Because I'm not a fortune teller. But there's one thing I can guarantee is if you do TikTok Shop and you really make it your focus and you are truly invested and you're willing to put up money to invest in the platform long term, there's an opportunity that you could make it successful very quickly, but long term, have that long term mindset, your business will explode. Your business will grow. You will be able to see a massive ripple effect across many other channels if your focus is TikTok Shop and you're in it for the long haul and you're not trying to have a positive ROI right out of the gate and only spend, a couple of $100 or, even a couple of $100 a day for 4 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 weeks and then think, oh, well, TikTok Shop's not for us. It doesn't work, right? You've got to have the flexibility to build the business and mold it around what is going to work on TikTok Shop rather than telling yourself that it's not going to work. Because TikTok Shop can work for so many brands, but if it isn't working, there's just multiple factors. It's not just your marketing, but it could also be down to your product and offer and your bundling, right? Maybe you need to create a unique bundle, a unique proposition for customers to be introduced and discover and experience your product on TikTok that then leads them into buying the full product, right? And so that's the way you need to think about this, because if it is your marketing hub, it becomes your marketing engine. It is the thing that powers the life of your business to scale it to exactly where you want it to be. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's move to kind of an actionable, which is starting with your first 3 to 5 products. So my methodology and our methodology across the business and my whole team, we preach this all the time, is less is more. Don't go launching every single SKU that you have. Focus on just your core SKUs. Maybe you start with some of your best sellers on other platforms. Maybe you have a product that you think would do really well on TikTok because you've also seen it work elsewhere. Test those products, but don't think that your hero SKU that's on Amazon or on through Meta ads is going to be the best SKU for TikTok. It could be, but it might not be. And be open to seeing what the data tells you around that, right? So first, you need a US entity with products to sell, right? Pick 3 to 5 hero products with a clear visual benefit. You want to connect your Shopify catalog, or you can list it directly in the seller center. I'd highly recommend using a tool as well called Shopdance. Shopdance is a great partner. It's a software that is created as a Shopify app that was made by a TikTok ex-dev to solve the bugs and issues with syncing products from Shopify to TikTok Shop. And we make it mandatory for every single brand that we work with to basically sign up for this and use this so we don't have any syncing issues, because this can have a very big effect on your TikTok Shop score, and we don't want that to happen. The next thing is shipping and fulfillment. It matters a lot. Your seller score affects the algorithm visibility, so you want to make sure that you've got all that dialed in and ensure that you can ship within TikTok's SLAs, which is 2 business days from when the order is placed. You want to also have a realistic timeline on when you're actually going to get first sales. And so you can see sales in the first 2 to 4 weeks after you set the shop up, and actually after you had ads running. You can see sales come in within 2 to 4 weeks. And then by about day 60, 90, maybe 120, you can see about 10 to 50K a month come in. But there's a really important aspect to this that I need to highlight. And that is, when we talk about realistic timeline, we're talking about realistic timeline if you're willing to invest in the platform. This isn't a realistic timeline if all your budget is $1,000 a month. It's not if your budget is even $2,000 a month. You need to be willing to invest in not only sampling, not only paying creators, and also ad spend. You need to be willing to spend, right? It's like anything in our lives, anything in business requires an investment of some sort. And I think that one of the things that I really dislike about the e-commerce industry is that we're so focused on our KPIs, which are really, really critical to be a healthy business. But we also need to understand that if we're trying to get results within 30 or 60 days and we want this channel to be profitable, even in 90 days, I would be much rather way more conservative and way more realistic than try to over promise and under deliver, right? And so if you give yourself a 6-month timeline to get to a point where you can be a bit more stable, have a bit more understanding about what you're doing, and get to these different milestones, you'll see exponential compounding growth after those months. But you have to go through that initial phase, right? The testing phase, seeing what's working, what creators are best to work with. And, you can expedite this with the right partner, but also remember that it's about building this foundation correctly. It's about approaching this with the right strategy. And this is a really important thing to highlight, because if you don't have the money to invest over a 3 to 6 month period of time for TikTok Shop, remembering that this is meant to be the marketing hub for our entire business, right? Like, how important is that to focus on, right? How important is it to build if we can then have that ripple effect out to other channels, right? How valuable is that to you as an asset for the business? It's extremely valuable. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. And so if you look at this and you don't have the money to invest over a 3 to 6 month period of time, then just don't try. Don't even start. If you're not willing to put the money up, you're not willing to invest, take the risk, and take hold of this massive opportunity that we have to build this incredible mechanism in social commerce that's going to fuel the rest of the year and the next 5 to 10 years in the future, then that's your decision. So I mean, at this point, like for us, we've just come to understand how powerful TikTok Shop is with the perspective of being a brand owner myself, right? Now, I may run an agency, I may service clients, and we have an amazing team that fulfills with tons of experience. But at the end of the day, I'm a brand owner, and I always have gravitated towards being a brand owner because that's what I love the most. And I love both businesses, but my point is that in understanding the landscape of meta ads, email, SMS, running Amazon, and Google ads, I've done all of those things. There's nothing that I've seen like TikTok Shop, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Revenue plus marketing in one. We've talked about this a lot, but this is the only channel where both compound together very, very well. So we have content created, which drives awareness, which drives reviews, which gives us insights and brings us direct sales. And so the marketing output and the revenue output, they really compound together. It's the highest return on effort, okay? ROE, right? Highest return on effort. And that's a really good term because a lot of times we're focused on ROAS and ROI, but what's our highest return on effort too? That's something to consider. And also factoring in like opportunity cost. So we got free content for ads that we can, send out a sample and get content back. We have awareness that's lifting other channels as well. So it's going to spread out to Amazon and to Google, where people are going to be like, oh, I found this brand on TikTok, this product on TikTok. Let's see if they have a presence on Amazon. Let's see if I can order it from Amazon because I have a Prime account. Or let's go and look at them up on Google and just make sure they've got a good reputation, right? Reviews will then build trust. And then those insights you'll be able to bring back to your team and be able to make decisions on what the data is telling you. And you can do this all within one platform. Makes every other channel you're already on work even better. And that's really the reality, is that it will impact your other channels. You just have to be able to build the foundation, get the content flywheel going, and get the cogs turning. And that's going to take some time initially. If you want to see kind of like a full setup walkthrough, you can go to a video that I made that I'll link right here, that you can open that up and go and watch that after this video. That will kind of walk you through how to actually go about that. If you're already doing over 7 figures a year on TikTok Shop and you want a partner to help you actually scale to $1 million a month or more, then you can click the link in the description to book a growth audit with my team directly. We'll sit down with you, look at exactly what's going on in your shop, and map out the biggest opportunities to help you scale. Now, if you're not quite there yet, and if you're doing under $50,000 a month, you're either kind of trying to cold start or you're just stuck trying to figure out how to actually grow and scale, the link is below in the description where you can get some more information. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you. See you in the next one, and watch this video next.